Job growth is slowing, real wages are falling, prices for everything from housing to gas to groceries to electricity to health insurance are up. AI slop is everywhere. The war with Iran is spiraling. Wildfire smoke is blanketing the Northeast. And thousands of Americans have explosive diarrhea. Thanks to a parasite the Trump administration stopped tracking. But don't worry, the president and his team are laser focused on the important stuff: magnetic catapults and sperm counts. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Every once in a while, we like to remind you about the 2024 campaign because most people have busy lives. It's easy to forget, but I don't forget. I got a stack of VHS tapes with everything Donald Trump's ever said on them every night. I go home and I watch them over and over again while drinking whiskey, chain-smoking Parliament. My kids come and they say, "Daddy, read us a book with us." And I'm like, no! I'm close to finding the clip that finally takes him down. Point is, we like to replay these moments every once in a while just to remind you that this is what Trump told people his presidency was going to be all about.
We will end inflation and make America affordable again. Prices will come down. You just watch. They'll come down, and they'll come down fast. I will rapidly drive prices down, and we will make America affordable again. We're going to get your energy prices down by 50%. Groceries, cars, everything. We're going to get the prices down. We will end inflation and make America affordable again. A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. Getting gasoline below $2 a gallon, bring down the price of everything from electricity rates to groceries, airfares, and housing costs. They call it groceries. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, everything is so much higher than it ever was, and we're going to bring that down.
Okay, but maybe skip the lettuce so you don't turn your colon into a water slide. Trump said he was going to bring down the price of lettuce, and not only is it more expensive, it could also give you explosive diarrhea. We're bringing back the germs. We're bringing them back very strongly. E. coli, Listeria, Cyclospora, that's the new one. Salmonella, we love salmonella. His full name is Salvatore Angelo Manila. He's a bookie from Staten Island. He's best friends with Rudy Giuliani. You know, looking back, this might have been a bad sign.
They call it groceries. Bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Actually, they call that a BLT. It's like famously a much faster way to say that. We should have known he wasn't going to be able to bring down the price of groceries because it seemed like he just found out about groceries. He's talking about it like he's doing an expose for Dateline. They call it groceries. And it's more common than you think. Your teenager might be doing groceries right now. So that's what Trump spent the entirety of the campaign promising Americans he would focus on, bringing prices down. But now, if you ask him about it, he says the whole thing is a hoax.
I had my first news conference the day after I took office, and they said, affordability. They go, that's a fake word that they use. They caused the affordability problem. It's called high prices. They came up with this word. They're good at coming up with words, but we came up with a good word too. They're Democrats, dumb. You take the B out. Most people don't know that dumb has a B, okay? But the U replaces the E, and you have a Democrat.
When your doctors heard that, did they say, "Hey, buddy, you want to come take a fifth cognitive test? We think you'll ace it." Also, did they say affordability or affordability? So Trump said he would fix high prices. That's what the whole campaign was about. And then he got into office, and his collection of internet-poisoned weirdos got obsessed with bizarre like this.
Today, the average teenager in this country has 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as a 65-year-old man. For men in 1970, men had twice the sperm count as our teenagers do today. Male sperm counts, I think, in this country are down 50% for teenage males. I read the other day that teenage males today have less sperm than the average 65-year-old American man.
Oh, you read that? What? What are you reading? Is there an erotic fiction section in AARP magazine? Seriously, why is a cabinet official talking about testosterone and sperm counts in the Oval Office? Is this a meeting with the president, or are you a gym teacher subbing in for health class? The best way to increase your sperm count is to eat animals that are high in amino acids like birds and rattlesnakes. Of course, it won't surprise you to learn this is nonsense, and a study found that there is no cause for panic, but Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is still concerned because he doesn't have much else going on, and got a lot of free time on his hand. This week, he announced that if you're in the military, you better get ready to have your testosterone levels checked.
Today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. Warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy.
Cool, cool. What about the war in Iran? Is testosterone gonna fix the war in Iran? The war has made gas more expensive. So today we're also unveiling a new program to fill your car with testosterone. Not only is it cheaper, but your Kia Optima will start to grow muscles and facial hair. And when you honk, just beware, it gets really angry.
Get the out of my way! Get the out of my way!
Yeah. Consistent. I mean, it's insane. This is what the military is focused on right now while the U.S. wages a war that's spiking prices with no end in sight. But don't worry, unlike Pete Hegseth, the president is focusing on our actual military capabilities, like our aircraft carriers. And I'm sure he's talking about them in very sane, very normal ways.
One of the first things I went to see was the Ford aircraft carrier. It was way over budget, and it had things on it that you didn't need, like it had magnets to lift up the elevators with 10 and 12 planes on them. Think of it. It had all sorts of modern day things that were all, instead of using steam for the catapults, they used electric. Let's have an electric catapult. And I said, I want to meet the catapulter. And the man came over along with 4 of his assistants. And I said, what's better, electric catapult or steam? He's been there for 25 years. He said, steam is better, sir. We can fix it with a hammer and a blowtorch. When the electric goes bad, I have to send to MIT to get geniuses over here.
Well, it definitely makes sense they would have to go elsewhere to find geniuses. The catapult's broken. Should we call the president? Well, he just learned that dumb ends with a B. So let's call someone else. Also, can we, just for fun, go back to this part?
And I said, I want to meet the catapulter.
Is there actually a person with the job title catapulter, or did he just make that up? Because I could definitely see Trump saying, I want to meet the catapulter, and everyone's like, who? And Trump's like, the catapulter, the guy who does the catapult. And they say, what does he look like? And Trump says, he's got a long green body and a red head, and they call him the very hungry catapulter. Very hungry. Yeah, he's not done with the leaf. Oh, he's not done with just the leaf. Now, in case you're not familiar, this is a long-running obsession for Trump, and I am loath to even bring up his catapult obsession, because the last time I did, the president posted on Truth Social that I, your beloved talk show host, talked endlessly about electric catapults on aircraft carriers. But to catch you up, Trump is talking about the catapults that launch fighter jets into the air. He loves the old ones that use steam and hates the new ones that are electric, and he really, really hates the new ships that use magnets for reasons that, brace yourself, don't make like a ton of sense.
When a little water touches the magnets, it doesn't work anymore. And you're in the Atlantic Ocean with waves that are 60 feet high, and the Pacific Ocean with waves that are 70 feet high, and they're talking about magnets. It makes you want to get sick.
I've never seen someone get this worked up over a magnet. Makes me sick, and don't get me started on refrigerator. One time I wanted to spell dumb, but I couldn't find the B. Not many people know there's a B. Also, magnets don't stop working when they're wet. You're thinking of, I don't know, cell phones or gremlins. Magnets get wet. All you have are wet magnets. Functioning magnet. Their magnetic fields still work in water. Also, why the am I explaining this to you? I'm not Mr. Wizard. In fact, at some point, Trump even seemed to realize that he'd maybe droned on for a little too long about the catapults.
I hope I'm not boring anybody, but it's all common sense. This isn't exactly part of my speech, but I got to tell you. You know, I'm getting it all out now, all the anger I have when I hear about electric catapults.
Yeah, you have a weird amount of anger about this. You might want Pete Hegseth to check your testosterone levels, you know. Maybe you need to be drained. Also, nobody thought this was part of your speech. Nobody thought the word catapulter had been loaded into the teleprompter. Can you imagine how much money you could make on Kalshi if you bet the catapulter was going to be in Donald Trump's speech? And if you think that's a crazy idea, it was reported today that the White House teleprompter operator allegedly made more than $100,000 betting on Trump's speeches. Everybody's getting their grift on in the Trump White House, baby. Can you believe that? Can you believe that a teleprompter operator would trade on inside information?
I can.
Oh,
It doesn't surprise me at all, Seth. Teleprompter operators are bad people. Some of the worst I've ever met.
I'm sorry, buddy. Let me explain. Wally's a cue card guy, so he hates teleprompters.
Profiting from inside information? Just be happy one of them didn't burn your house down.
Oh, come on. They're not that bad, Wally.
That's easy for you to say. You've never had a gang of them taunt you. I have. Hey, card boy, where you going? Let me guess, to write out Seth's script? Yeah, your script, Seth. Seth, they're monsters. They're just monsters.
All right, that's enough, Wally. Also, Wally, be honest. When was the last time you personally wrote one of the cue cards?
Oh, it's been years. I pay teens to do it now.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Of course, none of this stuff matters to most Americans. The catapults, the testosterone. People just want to know when this pointless and costly war with Iran is going to end, because things are escalating and there's no plan, even though Trump keeps claiming that a deal is near.
They want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off. They're nasty people, but they want to make a deal. I can tell you they want to make a deal.
You've claimed a deal is closed no fewer than 38 times. Not a joke. Then you signed a deal that lasted like 3 weeks and then said it was over and then went back to fighting them, and now you're saying they want to make a deal again. You know what you should do? You should send RFK Jr. in there to talk about sperm counts. They'll surrender in like 5 minutes. I've been monitoring sperm counts in teenagers. The ones that write Wally's cards. All right, yeah, we'll make a deal. We'll open the Strait of Hormuz. Just tell this guy to stop talking about sperm. None of this addresses the thing Americans expected when they went to the polls. They just want life to be more affordable. Instead, it's gotten worse. Every day is a constant stream of humiliation, scandals, and bizarre obsessions, from catapults to teleprompters to testosterone. Trump never stops. When it comes to BS, he's the very hungry
Catapulter.
This has been a closer look.
It's a fight-off!